Classic Rock 102.9 MGK presents On the Record, sponsored by Horizon Services. Now, here's Ray Koob.
My love affair with the band Yes started with their Fragile album. I'd been primarily an AM radio kid to that point and loved Roundabout. A friend told me that Ed Shockey and Michael Tierson were playing the full album version on MMR, so I had to check it out. Sure enough, I was only getting a taste from the AM dial and went and bought that album almost immediately after that. Fast forward to 1975, the year my concert gluttony was unleashed. The band was playing on their Relayer tour. Gates of Delirium, anyone? It was my first Yes concert. The opener was this new band, Ace, which featured Paul Carrick on vocals. Now, in my circle at that time, the show was memorable not only for the music, but also infamous because of the bag of weed security had removed from my sock on the way in. Little did I know then, but seeing Yes would become a ritual, repeated often over the next several years. Now, I graduated high school in June of '76, and I swear almost everyone in my class at William Tennant was at Yes's JFK Stadium concert that month. 100,000 rockin' souls on a hot summer day that turned into a chilly night, so much so that fans started bonfires in the stands to keep warm throughout the stadium. If you were there, you remember that. I went every time they came after that, my favorite being the In the Round shows in the late 70s and early 80s. Fast forward a couple of years and I find myself in a suite at the Four Seasons helping my friend Pierre Robert with his remote interview with all of the band. I loved how once rock stars had the concept of Reginald the Butler explained to them that they went right along with it. None was more impressive with their complicity than Yes that day. They gave Reg a hard time, ordering him around and making ridiculous demands of him. All in all, a fun time, and the first time I ever met them. A couple years later, I go on to lead a listener expedition to Hershey to see them there. Now I was more comfortable around them, and it made it more fun for the contest winners to enjoy meeting the band. A constant backstage at Yes shows was Ed Shockey, of course. We became acquaintances, then friends over the year, finally bonding over our mutual love of Madonna, of all things. But the last Yes show at the Spectrum in 2004 was their first show after Ed's passing. After saying hello to all of his guests, John Anderson moved to the corner to chat with the kids from the School of Rock, with whom he would later do a stellar concert at the Keswick. And I'm happy to say that I'm lucky enough to have become a go-to for John, and have interviewed him several times during my time at MGK. As a Yes baby who got into the band under Ed's influence, it makes me happy every time I speak with John. Now, last year he lost his fellow founding member Chris Squire, and it made me feel exceedingly good to give John a platform to express his loss on the record. Well, listen, John, we've had some interesting conversations over the last several years, and this part is not something I'm looking forward to. We're all saddened around the world, Yes fans everywhere, about the passing of your old mate Chris Squire earlier this year. And I don't know about you, I had no idea he was this sick or that sick. How did word reach you?
Well, I got information from Paul, who managed the band. He's a good friend. He said, look, Chris is really not well. So I got in touch with Chris, and I actually said what I feel deep inside. I wouldn't be where I am but for Chris. You know, he was my musical brother. We started the band. And 35 years later, you know, we're still playing together. And the amazing thing to me was he was always happening on stage. He was always spot on. And he was really one of the great bass players. And he could sing as well, which was really good. So without him in my life, it just wouldn't have been the same. So I thanked him and thanked him. And he thought the same of me. And we had a good chat. And then we emailed a couple of times. And then when he was passing, you know, I was meditating, and I felt him going away that night, actually. And it was just a very miraculous moment for me. Just so beautiful.
MGK's On the Record, sponsored by Horizon Services. Call Horizon Services for all of your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs. They promise to respect you. They promise to be on time. They wear protective booties in your home. They do not play pricing games. And they come out at your convenience anytime. Call 1-800-999-1995 or visit horizonservices.com.